Hi there, welcome to Jamaica Magazine. So glad to have you on another informative half-hour journey. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. On the pages today, we explore matters important to your health and well-being, improvements in Jamaica's disaster response mechanism, and ways to manage your plastic waste. Please stick around for these and more after this important message.
I wonder who that somebody be. No, sir. Let me look for my glasses. Oh, that somebody look like Roy, sir.
It's Lottie walk on.
Me glad for see you, Roy. Although things never go on for you, America, me glad say you there.
Yes.
Lift your head high.
Yes.
Stay out of trouble.
Yes.
And you can have a fresh start back home.
All right, Mr. P. Thanks, you hear?
Let's all work together for a fresh start back home.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JS News for Monday, June 23, 2025. Home ownership is on the horizon for more than 2,000 persons as the National Housing Trust, NHT, gets ready to begin construction on the Longville Meadows housing scheme in Clarendon. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was on hand for the groundbreaking ceremony on Friday. Gore Development Limited will be building the 2,077 units under the NHT's Guaranteed Purchase Program. Prime Minister Holness says he welcomes the partnership in the interest of constructing affordable units for the housing market.
Oftentimes, the ability of the government to execute its policy is really dependent on the quality of the contractor, the capability of the contractor. And Gore Development has a proven track record. They have been building houses privately for themselves and the private housing market for decades. They have a brand in the market, people know them, and most importantly now, they have a reputation to defend.
Chair of the NHT, Linville Freeman, says this is the fourth groundbreaking for the agency since the start of the year, with housing solutions totaling over 5,500 for the same period.
And based on the pipeline, we are working towards crossing the threshold of 8,000 units by the end of this year. And we are hoping to also build another 5,000 between now and the end of March 2026.
Longville Meadows will include a mix of 1- and 2-bedroom standalone units and serviced lots on lands owned by both the government and Gore Development. Phase 1 is already approved by all relevant authorities and full approval for Phase 2 is expected within 9 months. $2.7 billion is being spent to regularize basic amenities for the communities of Industry Pen and Tree Hills in St. Mary. Residents were updated by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness during a working tour of the parish last week. He says the scope of work will address long-standing issues such as water, electricity, roads and land settlement.
And of course, we're going to subdivide another 60 acres of land which will be made available at the proper terms.
A steel water storage tank with a capacity of over 400,000 gallons is being manufactured overseas and installation is projected by December. Meanwhile, upgrades to water transmission pipelines and the relift pump station at River Road are already in progress and now at 61%. Member of Parliament for St. Mary Western Robert Montague says some areas have received electricity with the farmland section remaining to be connected. The work is being carried out by the National Housing Trust and the National Water Commission.
They have gone to tender on the sewage and they have done some temporary construction on some of the road to give alleviation. But they, in a community meeting, they informed that they will not be able to treat with the road until they have put in the pipes and put in the sewage pipes and the water pipe.
The first shipment of buses for the state-run rural school bus system has arrived on the island. The shipment of 25 buses arrived Saturday night. Additional shipments are expected between now and August for both the rural school bus system and the regular Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC operations. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says St. Anne will receive the largest allocation under the program, 10 buses to serve 29 schools. He says within 3 weeks, Jamaicans will be able to see the buses when they are being tested.
We take off 63 JUTC bus off of the wharf and 25 school bus, the first 25. Within the next 3 weeks, you are going to see those buses, those 100 buses, school bus, through every nook and cranny, all the 100 routes that they will be traveling. We are going to test them on it so people can see them, feel them, touch them.
Minister Vaz says consultations will be held with school officials and other key stakeholders to finalize the specific routes. In its first phase, the rural school bus system will deploy 100 buses across all 14 parishes, serving 258 schools out of the targeted 850. Students will pay a flat fare of $50 per trip. The government has now completed the installation of upgraded LED floodlights at Sabina Park, a $75 million investment aimed at revolutionizing night cricket and boosting the stadium's status as a top-tier sporting venue. Sport Minister Olivia Grange says this is an indication that the government is serious about development.
This great facility will return to its, I would say, former glory, because this was a facility in the Caribbean that was seen as the place to be, to come to cricket and to experience great cricket matches.
She also revealed the extent of the government's effort to procure and install a new scoreboard.
After having discussions with the Jamaica Cricket Association, we approached the government of India. And following on that approach, Prime Minister Andrew Holness visited India, and again further discussions were held with the Prime Minister there. And so finally it's materialized. We're getting new scoreboards.
In addition to the upgrades at Sabina Park, the ministry is also pumping $100 million into the development of cricket in schools and at the grassroots level over the next 3 years. A Memorandum of Understanding MOU has been signed on to conduct the 4th Jamaica Health and Lifestyle Survey. The agreement was inked by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the University of the West Indies, and other partners. It provides for the survey to be carried out over a period of 15 months at a cost of $139 million. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says it will focus mainly on non-communicable diseases, which are the leading cause of illness and death in the country. The survey is also expected to zero in on additional areas of focus captured under the establishment of centers of excellence.
So the 4 key risks, we would like to look at epidemiological profiling and surveillance, primary prevention and health promotion, integrated and people-centered care models, and policy governance and multi-sectorial action as part of how do we use the information that is gathered in our health and lifestyle survey to have a concentrated focus on those that are the key causes of significant illness and, of course, unfortunately, of deaths in the country.
The Caribbean Institute of Health Research is playing a leading role in this health and lifestyle survey, which is due to be completed in the 3rd quarter of 2026. Training has commenced for the first cohort of executive sous chefs enrolled at Jamaica's Gastronomy Academy. The news comes ahead of this week's expected launch of the academy.
We are training already the first cohort of executive sous chefs. 6 hotels are participating in the program, and 20 executive sous chef students are now in training for certification.
The tourism minister made the disclosure during the inaugural Jamaica Forum on Gastronomy Tourism held last week at the AC Hotel by Marriott in Kingston. The event coincided with the United Nations observance of World Sustainable Gastronomy Day and was held under the theme Strengthening Linkages Through Culinary Innovation. And finally, the Ministry of Education is today launching a series of teacher training workshops as part of efforts to boost literacy among primary school students. The workshops will be held from June 23 to July 1 in preparation for timetabled reading, which will be reintroduced for grades 1 to 3 students in September 2025. Senior Education Officer in the Curriculum Unit of the Ministry, Dr. Novlet McLean Francis, shares that the aim is to support and retool teachers.
In this intervention, we hope to make this reading framework explicit with its attendant approaches and strategies that will be promoted via our early reading training. The teachers need to be equipped, and we have been doing work. The special education unit has been working with our schools, but we want to help them to plan some of these interventions and also to use data to assist them even as they plan these interventions.
Dr. McLean Francis was addressing last week's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. The training is being led by the ministry's core curriculum unit in partnership with teacher training colleges, the special education unit, Jamaica Library Service, National Literacy Team, and Media Services Unit. And that's it for JS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
Severe weather events, such as tropical storms and hurricanes, pose significant threats to livelihood and infrastructure. Jamaica has been making strides in terms of its preparation, mitigation, and response measures to ensure minimal disruption and quick recovery. Let's take a look at some improvements to the disaster response apparatus. Jamaica is no stranger to the powerful forces of nature. From hurricanes and floods to landslides, these natural disasters remind us of the importance of readiness.
So we have mainstreamed in our governance disaster preparedness and readiness as a means of building resilience against the climate change issues that affect small island developing states like Jamaica.
In terms of the National Disaster Risk Management Framework, it's actually one of the best, if not the best in the Americas.
We are in the best place we have ever been in our history in terms of our state of readiness.
When disaster strikes, all eyes turn to the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM. In a crisis, effective and reliable communication is of utmost importance. That's why the government, through ODPEM, has forged a partnership with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, to strengthen the island's emergency communication system. The ODPEM-JICA collaboration aims to improve the emergency communication infrastructure in Jamaica by installing wireless communication systems and relevant equipment, thereby contributing to swift and robust communication between first responders and government offices to respond efficiently to emergencies or disaster.
DECOM management to Spanish Town Fire Station. This is a radio check. How do you read? Over.
We are putting in place the necessary infrastructure for us to respond to these disasters. We would have already put in place all the necessary radios in their various locations. The Jamaica Fire Brigade, the police, every arm of government is equipped to communicate before and after. And this is a game changer for the people of Jamaica.
You don't want a system where you are relying on cell phones for communication. We saw what happened in Beryl, where a lot of the cell towers went, and there was communication blackout in some areas across the country. What you want to ensure is that there are redundancy to your communication, and our radar network gives us that kind of redundancy. In terms of the design, it is robust enough that allows us that if one of the nodes go down, we're still able to communicate across the country, and it gives us roughly probably 98% coverage across the island.
Changing from an analog to a digital system is not an easy feat. However, with the development of the Project Implementing Unit, the ODPEM is sure the DECOMs and Early Warning System EWANs will be effective in strengthening Jamaica's responsiveness. Coupled with the island's Early Warning System EWANs, the DECOMs are expected to effectively bolster Jamaica's responsiveness to natural disasters.
The objective of the project for the improvement of emergency communication system in Jamaica is to enhance Jamaica's public safety and our national emergency communication system. This national emergency communication system is critical for the coordination of emergency and incident response among our various government entities or key government responders. It will allow for emergency agencies to communicate via one common platform. We would have installed radio equipment to include mobile radios, base station radios, and handheld radios at a number of government entities to include the Jamaica Fire Brigade, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Ministry of Health, the local authorities, and a number of other entities island-wide. We would have installed early warning systems under the project across 2 parishes in 3 communities, namely Old Harbour Bay in St. Catherine and along the Bog Walk to Angels Corridor in St. Catherine, and also in Port Maria, St. Mary. This, with the installation of this early warning system, it will create that alertness that it is a multi-hazard system. So it will be able to alert residents, commuters, persons who utilize these areas, these urban centers, for example, Port Maria, about the pending hazards or threats that these communities will face.
This site is owned by Aerotel. They manage the telecommunication systems for Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority. Part of the benefit of co-locating at this site is that this site is designed for aeronautical purposes. So they have a very high standard, especially where power is concerned, and also for protection against lightning. And also provides quite a bit of redundancy just by virtue of its location. However, our system is designed to run entirely on a battery system, and pretty much we have our systems charged by their power. Should a case happen where we lose power, whether from GPS or their power system, our battery system will allow us to have service for up to 5 days. This site here in Coopers Hill provides coverage for the entire corporate area. So all of the radios in this area will be connected to this repeater site here at Coopers Hill, and that's another advantage that we have at this location.
The DECOM system will also help several stakeholders within the National Disaster Risk Management structure to mobilize and mitigate crises.
During the implementation phase of the project of the DECOM system, firefighters were basically embedded with a team of engineers that came down from Japan to install the equipment across the island. DECOM system that is now at ODPEM is manned by firefighters. So that's the rock and the knock, as is referred to. It's currently manned by firefighters, and these firefighters will remain at ODPEM, manning the system for as long as it's necessary. what we have done with this system is to make it a part of our daily communications. Once we're out in the field conducting, whether it's rescue or conducting firefighting operations, then the team members can communicate back to Central in terms of giving updates, live updates as to what is happening. If there is need for additional resources, that can be communicated in a reliable way, unlike what we have now.
We're able to introduce it as part of the communication platform during burial, and we were able to see some results. So it's a good thing.
The DECOM system is here to build resilience, plan for natural disasters, activate response efforts, and mitigate the impacts of disasters while maintaining an active and reliable communication channel.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Plastic has revolutionized various industries and proved beneficial in many consumer products, but its disposal phase poses a grave problem to our environment and livelihood. And so, we must engage proper plastic waste management practices. Keep watching for ways to do that.
It is all around us. It's in almost everything we use. At times, it's impossible to imagine life without it, and yet, life with it could cease to exist. Plastic pollution is caused by the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment. It has extensive impact on the environment, marine life, and human health, contaminating waterways, harming wildlife through ingestion and entanglement, and disrupting ecosystems. But if this thing is so dangerous, why did we begin to use it in the first place? Even better, why don't we just get rid of it? As humans lived and consumed much of the planet's resources, thinkers began to look for a better way to provide for the needs and desires of people while keeping the environment intact. After all, nature can only produce so much wood, metal, stone, bone, tusk, and horn. The search was one for something that could replace and spare the Earth's natural resources. John Hyatt invented celluloid, the first artificial plastic, but it was flammable. Leo Baekeland invented Bakelite, the one responsible for modern plastic. Bakelite was the first fully synthetic plastic, meaning it contained no molecules found in nature. Marketed as the material of 1,000 uses, Bakelite could be molded into almost anything, providing endless possibilities. The creation of new materials also helped free people from the social and economic constraints imposed by scarcity of natural resources. When advertisements praised celluloid as the savior of elephants and tortoise, of course that's something humans could get behind. Plastics began to replace other materials such as wood, glass, and fabric in our daily items. Thus, the plastic revolution began. Fast forward to now, and plastic is in everything that we use. Our bottles, kitchen utensils, food packaging, cell phones, televisions, computers, furniture, clothing, makeup, you name it. And thus the problem of plastic pollution. Did you know that almost every piece of plastic that you have used still exists? This is so because plastics do not biodegrade. That is, they do not decay naturally and in a way that is not harmful. Plastics generally only break down into smaller pieces, and even that will take some time. It takes about 20 years for a plastic bag to break down. Plastic water bottles and cups take 450 years. Our toothbrushes and disposable diapers take 500 years to break down. It means the things we use for our comfort and dispose of today will not disintegrate in our lifetime, causing not just problems for ourselves, but also for tomorrow's people. So with nowhere to go, plastics stick around and contaminate soil and waterways, disrupting ecosystems and harming biodiversity. Marine life, for instance, mistakes plastic debris for food, leading to ingestion and blockages in their digestive systems. This can cause injury, starvation, and even death. In addition, chemicals leaching from plastics can also harm marine organisms. The harm to our environment and animals from plastic waste impacts humans who use and ingest what nature creates. Microplastics have been found in seafood, salt, and drinking water, raising concerns about the health threat to humans by way of consumption. It contributes to the spread of diseases by providing breeding grounds for bacteria and other pathogens in stagnant water trapped in discarded items. It can harm human activities such as fishing, tourism, and recreation, which rely on healthy marine and terrestrial ecosystems. Furthermore, the economic costs of plastic pollution, including cleanup efforts and damage to infrastructure, ultimately affect communities. Additionally, exposure to chemicals present in plastic additives and pollutants absorbed by plastics may have long-term health implications, including endocrine disruption, reproductive issues, and cancer. Plastics are made from fossil fuels, which contribute to the climate crisis. In 2019, plastics generated 1.8 billion metric tons of greenhouse gas emission, which is about 3.8% of the global total. Addressing plastic pollution is crucial not only for environmental conservation, but also for safeguarding human health and well-being. So, what is to be done? We need to significantly reduce plastic production and limit its use. It's something that will not be easy, but which experts say must be done. Recycling, while of some help, will not solve the long-term problem. We need to phase out single-use plastics, something Jamaica has already started. In addition to small bags and straws, the government and civil society-led agenda is focusing immediately on things like plastic lunchboxes and personal care products with microplastic beads in them. As a society, we all need to be involved in finding sustainable alternatives to plastics. Individually, we can spread awareness about the environmental movements and donate or join organizations confronting the issue. Without a clean and healthy environment, we cannot prosper and live healthy lives.
Our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine ends right here for today. But please, join us again tomorrow on this station for more news, features, and information you can use to live, work, raise families, do business, and of course, retire in paradise. In the meantime, visit our website, jis.gov.jm for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Till next time, take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.